In this video, I'll show you how to create this component made for you, and you have this playlist, right? And if you look at this UI, a couple of things are happening here. You have this card. When you hover over it, um, these buttons show up, right? And when you hover in this area, these two arrows show up, and then you can click on these arrows, right, to see different tracks within this playlist. You hover out, and this is what it looks like. So to create this, what you want to do is you first want to create this this size frame. Let's say that is around, like, let's say this size, what is it, 245. Let's make it even, like 250 and 350. Okay, that looks pretty good. This frame 50. I'm gonna rename this to say playlist card. Okay, and just for the sake of visibility, I'm going to color its background as green. Now let's see what other content is inside this card. There is this kind of artist card, right, or the playlist card. We are going to use the molecule we have, which is this. So artist card small, we can use actually this one right here. So we'll use that. To use it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to assets, and I have to do it like so because this is a component set. It has like multiple components, variants of components within this this component. So this is called component set with multiple variants of the component. So when you have a component set like this, you want to search it under the assets and search by name. And this is one reason why you should always name your component sets or components whenever you create one. I'm going to search for artist card small. Once I search it, and this is what it is, right, I will say click on there and then insert instance. So this is the instance I want to use in that playlist card. Okay, so this is where it is. All right, so to place this artist card inside of this playlist card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I will add auto layout to this playlist card. Add auto layout. Right now it's shrinked because the height became hog when I added that. I'm going to say fixed height and then put it back to 350. I think that's what it was. You know what, I think this looks a little bit small, so let me make this 300 wide and 420 wide. So if you look at the Spotify, you don't have this plus icon over there, right? So let me just take that plus icon out by switching it off, and now it's centered. So what I can do is I can simply, can I do that? Yes. So align to the left and it's done. Instead of artist, we have playlist.spotify, right? Okay, and this color is so bright I can't see anything. Let's make it Dot. Okay, much better. Okay, this is the playlist card. Let me go back to the files, playlist card, right? And it has this, what do you call that? Like the playlist name. Now, what else do we need? We also need this thing over here, right? It has some text in the first line, and then we have some, buttons. So let's create this footer. I'm going to call this like a footer of this playlist card. In the footer, I have text and these buttons. So let's first create some text. Text is going to be, let's say, I can't copy it. Rock legends and epic songs that continue to inspire. Rock legends and epic songs that inspire generations. Okay, whatever that was. And there was also something like, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Paul Jam. Okay, if you look at this text, it's like going beyond this container, right? How do you fix that? What you can do is, instead of keeping it hog, you can say fill container, and it'll fill it, and it'll also add the return, or the text will just wrap around this container. The next thing you need are these buttons, right? Preview and ellipses, plus and play. Preview, ellipses, plus and play. So preview button, we already have a button which looks like that, which is button small. Yeah, button small. So let me just get an instance of this button small. Here you go, button small, insert instance, and I am going to place it over here. So it's stacked over there, and I know it has a icon right there. Okay, I'm gonna change the label to preview. Okay, we have the preview. I can also change this to that. Okay, preview, and what else? Ellipsis, plus and play. I have already gathered those icons, ellipsis, play, and plus, right? Okay, ellipsis, play, and plus. And I am able to copy and paste this because they don't have they are not component sets, so I can copy, and they have like just one state, right? So I can copy and paste them to create their instances, unlike we did, we had to search from the assets list for these that had multiple variants. Okay, so I'm going to just paste it here. I have these 3 icons, and these are vertically stacked right now. What I want is these as in one group. So I selected all these 3 and then pressed command shift A to wrap them in an auto layout. I'm going to say horizontal auto layout, and gap between items, I'm going to apply spacing small, 16. I think that should be good. Now preview and these buttons, they need to be in a horizontal in the same level, so shift A again by selecting these, both of this group and the button, and also apply horizontal layout. And here we want these buttons to the right and these icons to the right and the button on the left. So, and centered vertically, right? So we're going to click here and gap hidden items to auto. It didn't took the whole width. So what I'm going to do, width fill container. There you go, right? And I think this was, it was like this, right? Ellipsis plus and play, plus and play. Okay, you know, we have a button that looks like that. So what I can do is I can actually change this to the button, the circle button, right? Wow, but that's gonna be like super big. But I don't know, let's just see what happens. Okay, centered, and this button is going to be play. Do we have a play button that is circular? I thought I had, oh yeah, right there. Okay, I mean, yeah, well, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you can choose to, you know, I think if you want it a little bit smaller, you can create a variant of this icon button over here. But right now, I think it's quite bigger than other buttons, or I don't know, maybe just make this one a little bit smaller. Okay, anyway, this feels like a little bit bigger, but that's all right. And definitely we need a different variant, right? And here the background is white, so let's just create a white variant of this button. A new variant, yeah, and this is going to be called white, or you know what, let's call it light, and this is dark. Let's change its color to light. Okay, there you are. And here we are going to select property dark to light. Well, I need to find a better icon, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, let me see, is this preview button, yeah, smaller than that? Okay, I mean, I can live with that. So let's see. Now what we want is these two things, right? These two layers, the text layer and the buttons, we need them at the bottom and this header at the top. So we want to group them together, right? Now this is one group and this is another. So what we want to do is the container that contains all of these things, right? These two layers, this group and that, select the outer, the parent layer, and it has a vertical layout. So say gap hidden items to auto, and it's now at the bottom. Okay, now, wow, okay, so it's at the bottom. But if you look at the, you know, how this is constructed, there's like the gap is kind of bigger than what we have. So let's change the gap hidden items over here for this container, which holds this text and these buttons. Make it let's say large. Yeah, that should be good enough. All right, so we have this playlist card. Okay, now what we need here is that, look, this kind of card, I mean, it's repeating like everywhere, right? There are so many of these being used. So what we want to do is we want to create this whole thing as a component. And we are creating this as a component because we need this in multiple places to create create the playlist card for different kind of playlist in Spotify, right? So now the next thing we need is so on hover, you also see that there are these arrows, left and right arrows, they show up. So for that, we need to bring these icons. In Spotify, you have these, not in Spotify, sorry. In SF symbol library, you have those icons. Okay, so find them. Let's see, what are they called? I think they are called chevrons. SF symbols and chevron left circle fill. Yeah, that's what I used. Okay, so copy paste them and then make sure they have the font size. The text should have the font size. What's the font size? H2, because these are a little bit bigger than the icon font size, I think. Yeah, icons are smaller. H3, let's keep these H3 because they themselves act as H2, sorry, yeah, H2, and yeah, H2, and then create them as components. So these both are components, right? Now, well, if you don't want both of these as components, what you can do is take one out, so you only have the left, right? And you can use its instance. So this is an instance, right? And then another instance. So I can rotate this like 180 degrees. Look. And then you have left and right. So I can use these two icons to create that navigation. So when you hover, you see these buttons, right? Left and right. So I'm using the same font or the same icon for both these buttons. So once I have these, right? These as once I have these, now you want to create this as a they are in like one row, right? This is like in one section, or this is like one row, if you can imagine that. So Shift A, so this is in one layer, right? I'll call it nav or card nav, and then I'm gonna place this inside of this card. And now you see, because we have applied auto layout to this playlist card with this auto gap between items, it aligns in the center, and now you want this on the right and this one on the left. So you need to change, you want to make sure that this container is full width, right? So to do that, you want to say width equals width to fill container, and now you can see that the buttons are centered, one's on the left, another on the left, another on the right, right? Okay, now just to make it more visible, I'm going to change the background color to gray. Okay, this is more visible, I think. Well, but you don't see the icons over there. Let's change it to light gray. Okay, yeah, this is, I think, it much better. Now we have this, right? So this is actually the second state, right? Whenever you hover, this is what you see. But the first state is, so what we can do is, the first state is when this these icons or this whole row is not showing up, and this one is also not showing up. So what we can do is create a new variant. So this is hover, right? This is the hover where everything is showing up, and this is default, or yeah, This is the default. And under default, you don't want this. So by default, there is no button, right? By default, when you hover out, there is no button. So what you can do is you can take this out, you can just turn it off like that. And also, by default, these buttons are not showing up. I mean, they should not be there. So to do that, we need to, hide it somewhere. There are multiple ways to do that, but you can do this. Look, click on clip component, change this height to, let's say, something like that, and that's it. Okay, so this is your, again, there are multiple ways to do this. One way to do is, simply changing the height. Okay, so once you have this, what you want to do is now you want to prototype, right? You want to prototype and say when someone hovers while this card is, the default is hovered, the hover cards should be shown. So drag and drop, right? And say on hover, while hovering, change to hover. Instead of instant, say smart animate, and everything you can keep it as is. All right, now once you have that, you want to place this in your website, okay, in your page, home page. So to do that, because this is component set, you want to search that in the assets. I mean, it's already listed there, so I can see it here, right? And if you look at it, right, look, whenever there is something, it has multiple variants, it shows over here. See, look, right? Okay, instance, we want the default, so insert instance. This is the default card. Now I'm just going to drag and drop it over here. Okay, look, it's there. And now let me now preview this. While previewing, I want to make sure that it is responsive. There you go. Now, okay, right? So everything is working as we planned. Now, the next thing we need is the, image carousel, right? Or in this case, I mean, it's a video. You can also add video instead of the images, but we'll go with the images first, okay? So let's work on the images. So to create the images, what we want to do is we want to, basically create a couple of images. Let's do that. And the image size is exactly the card size, like the entire card size. So what's the card size? 300 by 450. So 300 450. Okay, this is image 1, image 2, image 3. Now let's add an image. So to do that, let me download some images. Play. Okay. What? Save image as image 1. That's too small. That's too small. What's going on? that's too small. Let's see. Okay. All right, we have the 3 images we need. So let's just add these images there. Or you know what we can do, look, we made these images as, you know, what do you call, like atoms, right? Different size images. We could actually create this as a component, create component, right? And we can say this image large. Okay, let's call this image large, and then we can get rid of these. Okay. Now we can use an instance of this component, right? And also in the component, I'm going to say fill to image. Okay, so now we can, you know, in the instance we can directly import image, right? And also yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is our instance of the large image, so we want to create 3 of them. Okay, oops. So we have 3 of these images. Let's add image for the first one. Where did it go? Okay, upload from computer. So that, and that, and that. Okay, we have 3 images. So what needs to happen is that when a button is clicked, oh, okay, so one more thing, look, these buttons, they are here, right? So if we have these buttons in here, I mean, we are going to replace, or we are going to add these images inside of it like this, right? Inside the card like that. So what we actually need is that the buttons we have them here in this component set. We actually need these buttons on top of these images so that we can add those animation in here, right? When you click on the button, it should go there, and when another button is clicked, it should go on the other image. So what I'm going to do is I will simply Command X, which is I'm taking out that buttons, right? These buttons, Command X, I'm taking them and putting them here. Okay, sorry, it didn't go. Okay, anyway, so it's here. So I want to just put it over here so that I can use these navigation buttons to navigate or to change these images. Okay, and in the first instance, although it is not visible, it's there because we turn it off, right? The visibility. I'm going to just get rid of that. Okay, delete. Yeah, right. Okay. Now what we need is we need to have these buttons, right, in such a way that when you click on that, it should go there, but this should also have this these navigation buttons, you know. If that is the case, right, why don't we have this whole navigation over here in the image large, you know? So these are there, right? We don't have to, you know, I mean, add that layer of images in all three images, these buttons in all three images. So yeah, and that's the, I think, benefit of having these images as an instance of a image component, right, which is an atom. So what we also want is that these buttons, we want them in the middle of this large image. So what we want to do is, here we want to add auto layout to this image. Okay, so add auto layout. This is 300 450, just in case it collapses or it changes its height and width. I'm going to add auto layout, so it's 300 by fixed height, so 450, right? And then we want this button in the center, so something like that, right? And this could actually say fill container. Great. Okay, image large, padding, it's, I will say 16 padding in this image, right? Also here, small. Okay, there you go. So we have now button in the image, and which means that we have buttons everywhere. Cool. All right. Now, what can we also do next? Now what we want to do is, so we want to add this slideshow inside of this, right? Inside this playlist card. But if we add like this, let's, yeah. So if we, yeah, to add these in that, in this, add these images in that playlist card, we first want to make these as slideshow. And to do that, we need to animate them first, right? To animate them, we want to go to prototype and say, when someone clicks on it, go here, right? On click, navigate to that. On click, on click, navigate to that. On click that, go back. If you click on that, go back. If you click on that, sorry, go there, right? And if you click on that, go all the way to the front. Okay, this is the animation we want. We don't want this as a flow. We haven't talked about flows, but we'll talk about it in class. Oops, I don't want this as flow, so take it out. So next thing what we want to do is, if we add it over here like this, how are we going to fit it there, right? We cannot do that. So what we need to do is, we need to create all these three images as component set. So that's what we're going to do. Select all of these, right? And right click and say, or you can actually do it from here, right? Yeah, so here, create component set. Okay, so create component set. Once you create component set, this is what it'll look like, and it says it's complaining that some variants have the same name. So if they have the same name, yeah, they do. So we are going to change their names. This is going to be image 1, 2, image 3. I wonder if the animation still works. The prototype still works. No, it doesn't, does it? Yeah, it didn't. Okay, we should have actually created this as component set first and then added these links. Okay, so when someone clicks on this icon, should go to that. Someone clicks on that, goes to there. Someone clicks on that, should come back. Clicks on that, comes to this. Someone clicks on that, this is the first image, so it should go all the way to the back. Someone clicks on the last image, this arrow icon in the last image should go to the first one. Okay, see, the animation is, the slideshow is done. So I'm going to call this slideshow. Now, we are going to place this slideshow on top of this playlist card. Okay, so let's see. Slideshow, right? So go to assets and slideshow. There you go. This is a slideshow. Insert instance. So this is a slideshow we want to have nested inside of this playlist card. Okay, so here, add it there. Look, I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's not placed where we want it, right? So what, and the reason is because, you know, the playlist card has auto layout implemented, which means that all of these other stuffs, you know, they are hiding or they are somewhere. So what we want to do is we want to say ignore auto layout. Within this default instance, the slideshow should ignore auto layout. Okay, you click on that and then you want to place it top left. Okay, top left. All right, it looks like the image size is not right, or maybe something happened, I don't know. Is it the image size or the container? Whoa, hold on. The default, oh, it's right actually. Or I don't know, man, this 450. Okay, it's supposed to be 420. So this image is 450, right? It's supposed to be 420. So let's change the image large, this size, to 420, and I'll take care of, you know, image size everywhere. Look, you see, that's why it's always a good idea to create things as component if you're going to use it in, you know, multiple places. So it took care of the size, so this is what we want. But now I don't see the button and the header, right? The playlist name. So it's because it is at the very top. So what I'm going to do is put it at the bottom. Again, although it looks like at the bottom, right, it was at the top. The layer was at the top because of how the auto layout is auto layout is set. So for example, here, look, it had last on top. If we do first on top, then this is at the top, so this should be at the end. Okay, doesn't matter what the setting is, as long as it shows up, that's what we want. Okay, we are going to do the same thing. So by default, this is how it looks. On hover, we want the same image, but I'm just going to keep it consistent. Okay, oops, there you go. Okay, now if you look at these arrows, right, we don't want them at first, so just hide them. That's it. Okay, now let's test this out. Oh, to test it, oh, okay, it's here. So look, showing up, right? Hover, shows these buttons, shows the text, these buttons as well. Now let's check if these buttons actually show you the slideshow. There you go, it does. Look, isn't that cool? Yeah. All right, so you have created this made for you card, yeah, for your Spotify prototype. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Now look how, you know, when you have these images at the background, you cannot see things on the front layer, right, of that whenever you have a background, image background. So how you can fix it is, well, you can do this. Look, image large, right, you have fill image and you can add another layer of fill. Right now it has 20% of black, right? For some reason, the libraries, if you take the color library, it doesn't show you the percent over there unless you add a variable. So let's see, go to variable, right, and then colors, and then create new variable color. Let's say this is black, and then I want, let's say, how many percent, like how much, 50%. Okay, now this I'm gonna call it dark 50%, right, or background 50%. So background is this 0, 0, 0, we have this 50%. Okay, so we have that new variable, so that's what we're going to use. Background libraries, background 50%. Okay, once we have applied that, it didn't get applied to these, did it? Well, not really. So can we do something like, oops, when I did reset instance, okay, I should have done it at the very beginning. It looks like that. That's what it looks like. So look, I mean, yeah. Now things should show. Reset. Well, I mean, this is one way, right? There are other ways to do it too. Do that too. Like, not, I mean, do the exact same thing, but to make the text and the icons more visible. You might also want to add, you know, background just for this layer, right? So that is another possibility. But I have already done this. I mean, this is working pretty good, I think. So I'm just gonna, you know, keep this. And you know, once you have, let's say, made changes, you have an instance of a component set, right? And if it doesn't work, what you can do is you can always say reset instance, which means that you are going back to, you know, whatever the default instance of that component was, and then you have to basically redo things. Okay, so here I still don't like how, you know, this doesn't show up. Sorry, but for that I think I have a solution. Let's see. Okay, over here also, I think if we change the color of these arrows to, let's say, arrow to this to gray, it should show up. Look, I think let's do light gray. Let's check it out. Oops. Yeah, I mean, to me it looks better, but something happened. Oh, we reset, and now we have to do this whole thing. I mean, the prototype thing. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. It's a simple, you know, and unless you reset it, I mean, this should not happen. This happens only when you like reset meaning, like, you know, you don't, you basically are formatting or getting rid of all the things you might have done to an instance of a component. So here we go, and there. Okay, right, there you go. Cool. All right. So yeah, try to make your own, you know, made for you cards. Let me see, does it have, yeah, some corner radius? I'm gonna add that as well, and you can add them over here, or you can add it in here. I don't know, will it work or not? Let's see. It did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, but you see, they were added in the images. It took effect on the images, but the card in itself, they had some filling in it, coloring it. If you take it out, there you go. So yeah, looks good. Okay, you know what, I think it's too big, so I'm gonna make it tiny. All right, yeah, I think this looks a lot better. All right, okay, now it's your turn to create the made for you card. All right,